Okay, so today is International Animation Day, and I'm just going to be working some Crochet Freeform and adding to what animation is. I mean, because sometimes I think that the word semantics kind of gets lost in the expansion of a growth mindset related to what we can do on the internet and what is animation. Okay, so I'm just going to be working on, I think I'm going to work a crochet pineapple as my first free form. And I'm just going to make a series of, I'm going to start off with 6 double crochet here. So I've got 3, 4, 5, and 6. If anyone has any questions, please leave them in the comments. Well, hello, Miles. Hello, Miles. Okay, now I'm going to flip around and I am going to work 2 double crochet in each stitch across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm making a pineapple. If you stay and watch, you'll see what it is. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. It can be used as a flower leaf too. So I've been seeing a different one on YouTube that turns into a flower leaf, and which is sort of cool. And it has a different closure, but it looks just like the pineapple though. And so I think I'm going to try to do the other one, within the time I've allocated myself for doing a live stream here. And a pink pineapple. Yes, absolutely, a pink pineapple. And so I'm going to work a chain 3. It's also got glitter in it. Do you see the glitter in there? Do you see the shiny glitter? I'm always so happy when I order something from Amazon and they have a suggestion for something that they know I like, and it's on sale. It's on their deals. Always think that's nice. Now, I did notice just before I got on here that Amazon actually has laid off 14,000 to 30,000 corporate workers. They did that just, I guess, today in an announcement. They've laid off a whole lot of workers. So, how do I speak other languages? How do you speak? I don't know. You'd have to learn it because I don't speak other languages. It's just little things I've picked up here and there. I've never spoke other languages my own self. The only thing I've ever known is English. And so, if you want to speak other languages, you would have to use Google Translate if that's something you want to write in the comments. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you do something like that, American people do not like the foreign languages written in the chat because we can't read what it says. And so, yeah, people don't like it when you speak English or when you speak Spanish in the chat because of the fact that we don't understand what it is. I mean, people have written now, I've had people write in mine, and I do get Google Translate on it. I had a translate on it just yesterday, I believe. And so Google periodically gives me a translate, and I knew they do it. It's not consistent though, but it's every once in a while I'll get a translate, so And, so if you want to speak other languages, though, you literally have to learn the other language. And so, there comes a point for American citizens that foreign language becomes spam. Because people want to know what you're saying. We don't want to have to guess. How are you crochet so well? Oh, practice. It's something I've been doing for like 43 years, I think. So, if that tells you anything, I'm an old person. Okay, so we've got this fanned out here. Let's see here. Okay, so I think with this one, I'm going to try to end in the center here, just by making a single crochet. Well, that didn't exactly end me in the center, but I'm going to slip stitch up there because I'm going to be making this smaller as I progress with it. And so I'm decreasing is what I'm doing. 1, 2, 3, single crochet, 1, 2, 3, single crochet, 1, 2, 3. I've heard lots of people, I know since you brought the topic up, lots of people have, when someone writes in a foreign language in their chat, they've said that. They're like, I don't speak that language, which I don't either. I have no idea what you're saying. And, so eventually it's going to just get marked as spam is what's going to happen with the foreign languages. And so, I don't know if Google anticipated that or not. But it's kind of the same principle as, anything, because, okay, YouTube provides the tools for people to be able to do things. And then you provide those tools and then people use the tools for various reasons, so it's not just moderation. It's going to be foreign language moderation too. Because it's like, well, oh my goodness, there was a woman the other day, and where was this at? She was talking about, on one of the YouTube lives, she was saying something about that she said a word in, I don't even remember which language, Persian maybe or something. She said she used a word in a foreign language, and she didn't know that it was a curse word or something that was filtered in YouTube's filter, and she got a warning from YouTube. That's what she said. So apparently YouTube is filtering foul language, curse words, and anti-Semitics in foreign languages now, which they should. For the sake of equality, they really should. And so I believe that the United States in and of itself has many foreign language experts who are American citizens. And so they're able to know enough about the foreign languages that they're able to provide input to know what anti-Semitic from foreigners is. And so it's like, I always said this myself. It's like, well, why should why should foreigners be able to get away with writing nasty sentiment about American citizens in the chat just because we had the platform first, and so they're writing nasty things about us, but then we get censored when we write it in English. They know that, but then they can say nasty things from their side to us and not get censored. And I've always thought, well, that's rather unfair as well. It's like, the foreigners need to get censored too. I mean, they shouldn't get a pass, should they? For the sake of equality. I don't know what you wrote there, Lizney. But yeah, everybody does that. They write like that because we have. Oh yeah, I know what word that could be. I can only guess. Yeah, and so we can't write. I can only guess. There's many words that is that sheet, SHEE. Oh, sheesh, SHEESH. SHEESH. I think that sheesh. Goodness, like sheesh. This is going insane and crazy related to the censorship. Yeah. And so I was having one that was kind of fun yesterday, though. I had a sticky key again. And so I've been having a whole series of sticky keys. I hope this is decreasing. It really doesn't look like it is. It's supposed to be. I might have to do it a little bit harder because it doesn't really seem like it's okay. Maybe that's my mistake. I don't know. Yeah, okay, that looks right. Okay, let's slip stitch in here. So I had a sticky key, and it was sticking. I was writing the word P, and I would come in front of it, which was so funny. And so every time I wrote the word P, it would be IP. So I just left it, and I thought, okay, let's see what kind of words we come up with this. It was hilarious, actually. I thought it was funny. And then I wrote the word K, and then there was a little winky after it. So I'm not K winky, quinky. Oh, quinky, a quinky dink. Have you? Yeah. That just reminded me of the quinky dink. The K in the winky, which is quinky, KWI. Yeah, quinky. I didn't think of that yesterday, but I wasn't live streaming though either. But apparently AI understands my sense of humor though, which is kind of fun. I mean, I've never had any ill intentions towards anyone, ever. And AI even finds ways to write words that, oh, it comes up with some funny stuff. So I'm just working a series of chains. Okay. That's what I'm doing, working a series of chains here. I have 3, I'm not sure here. I'm just going to work them in here like this till it's done. And we're working a pink pineapple. That's what we're working on, is a pink pineapple. That's really pretty. So the pineapple, this is an individual one. It can be used as an ornament if you wanted it to be. I mean, I've seen it recommended for, and people have put it on their Christmas trees, their holiday trees. They've used it in windows as a little window. I don't know if people do this stuff or not, but you know, it's just the recommendations from the old days. So maybe it's tired old stuff that people don't do anymore. I know that there's a lot of young ladies and people, even men nowadays too, interested in crochet. So this is the premise of what you see in lace doilies, actually. And this is how you work them. But you work them in a round, though. And so between, actually, what happens is then you work a series of chains and double crochets to make up, expand, because you've got to do your increases. And so you increase with other chains. Now this one would actually need to be pressed and blocked. And that's what we call it, blocking. And so when I say blocked, that simply means that you make it wet and you block it so that it's actually, let's do one more for good measure up here at the top. Give it a little bit of a point. Okay. So pineapple, there's the pineapple. You see the basic premise of the shape here. So it looks sort of like a pyramid, which it is. But it's a pineapple right there. So that's the basic premise on how to make a crochet pineapple. And so you can see some of the little points right here. If I would have just done a slip stitch instead of a single crochet was not necessary probably. I would have had a smoother edge. Now if I wanted to, I could go around up here. See this? Here's how it looks like a pineapple. And actually, if I went around and up here, I could turn this into a flower leaf too. Do you see the shape here? It could also be a flower leaf. And that's the one. Wait, hey, wait a second. Let me try this. Okay. Because I'm going to rip it out anyway. I'm not going to keep it like this, but I'm going to go down the side here. Slip stitch or single crochet? Let me single crochet. I don't want to pull it too tight. And I'll kind of show you the premise of the one that I've been seeing on YouTube. I might need to... Now they use the puff stitch instead. I can do the puff stitch next. So this is just the free form. So if I was making a lace doily, I would layer this stuff on top. And I've done that before. Actually, I've just made circles around something like this, making a lace doily, and it turns out really, really pretty. It's the what was the other? It's a it's a. I didn't want to use the word motif anymore. I wanted to use, I guess, a block, a crochet circle. You know, so something that you join. I had another word that I was going to use instead of motif because that's not something that people use a whole lot. I was using something more common and now I don't remember what it was. I like to use references that are more common for the purpose of people knowing what I'm talking about. So I'm going to work some Tunisian along here like this and just pull up a series of loops like this. And I'm just randomly putting my hook in here like that across the top here. Maybe I should, wait a second. Yeah, I need to move this over a little bit more. I'm going to work a slip stitch. I don't need it to be that much. Yeah, slip stitch. Maybe I should have done slip stitch along the side, but I'm going to be ripping this out anyway. Okay, let me do one more slip stitch and okay. I'm curious to see how this works out now. Okay, so I'm going to do a little series of Tunisian first, a little row of Tunisian here. Just kind of as the base. I still think this would make a beautiful flower petal too. It actually it will. Oh my gosh. See how it curves? It'll make a beautiful flower petal. And so, okay, now this time, okay, I'm going to pull up. Now I'm going to, I want to go through and then pull up and then, should, no, just keep, don't second guess, just keep doing. Okay, now we're going through here. Hang on. Let's see if, well, okay, let's go through here instead. We're going to go between and between and between. Okay, and now I'm just going to pull through all these. You see how we turned that into a flower petal? And we added a little bit more curve to it. Now, if I was going to leave it like this and turn it into a complete flower petal, a pineapple flower petal, do you see how it curved even more? Which means that you might want to stiffen it. You know, use some fabric stiffener or glue or something, or you could just leave it like this too. Actually, if you leave it like this, then you have the ability to be able to shape it at a later time. And so that's the thing that I think is kind of nice with just leaving it and not adding stiffening to it, which that could be, as I said, just flour, not flour. It could be fabric glue, which they sell. I think some people just use Elmer's glue. So do you see how that, you know, so it looks like a giant leaf too. Is that a giant leaf? I like that. I think that's a lot of fun. Okay, so I'm wondering here. Let me see if I can get any other suggestions from YouTube on what to make. Is that a snowflake? Yeah, a crochet snowflake would be kind of fun. Okay, I'm just going to rip this out. I'm just doing some freeform. And I just wanted to expand the thought process of what animation is too. You know, because animation is not just drawing. Animation, actually, me ripping this out right here like this is an animation. It's rather satisfying to rip. Maybe that's why we do it. I think collectively, us as crocheters and knitters, we find something very satisfying about pulling our work apart when we frog it and rip it and rip it. There is something satisfying about pulling our work apart. This is how we reverse engineer too. I mean, you don't even have to pull it apart to reverse engineer. You can just look at it if you're inclined to do so. There. That's very satisfying. Now I have a great big yarn barf pile. That's what I started with, was a great big yarn barf pile. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is another leaf. I'm going to show you how to make another type of a leaf here. This one's going to be using some Tunisian techniques. I had to get a little drink. Okay. So I believe what I'm going to do is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think that'll work. I'm going to do 5. 1, 2, 3. So I end up with, I wanted to have more. I wanted to have 5 loops, so I need to get 6 on here. Okay, so I skipped the first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this one, I could go through here and have 6. Okay, I thought it was too tight. So yeah, I have 6. That'll work. So I'm going to yarn over, pull through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now my goal is to keep 6 on my hook. That's my goal. I'm also going to be decreasing too. I'm going to be decreasing and increasing at the same time. Okay, I had to get a little swig of coffee there. Now I'm going to chain 1. I don't want to make it too tight. Turn. And so, hang on. Okay, we've got 6 loops on our hook, and that turned out right. I'm making a leaf. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I'm going to chain an extra one. I don't want to make it too tight. So do you see we have a little space right there? It'll make more sense as we progress along. So I'm going to, and I'm turning every time. Okay, so 1, 2, well, I've actually got 3 on there. 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, yarn over, pull through 1, then pull through, this is number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so you can see that there's offsetting on each side. It looks kind of like an arrow. I need to chain 1. My goal is to stick around here with 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yarn over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Chain 1. Turn. We're going under for number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Yarn over, pull through 1, then 2 for the rest of them. That's number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Chain 1, turn. Okay, now we're going through here. That's number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. See what we're ending up with? We're ending up with this really pretty leaf. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Chain 1, turn. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Yarn over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Chain 1, turn. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. See what we got here. That's really pretty. Okay, let me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So what we've got here is a leaf. So you can see the little curves on the edges here. So it's using Tunisian, and we've got a narrow leaf here. Now, if you wanted it larger, what you would do is just start off with more chains and make the leaf larger and wider. And so this is a free form that I would actually add into. So if I would have kept my pineapple, I would have added this into a free form in making a free form type lace doily. And so with this, if I was doing a free form, I would probably crochet around it and make a block. Yeah, that's what I'm going to call it, a block, even though it's a circle. A block does not have to be a square or a circle. A city block, you know how we always call them city blocks, but they don't necessarily have to be an exact square. They can be a circle too. So that's why I wanted to use the word a block instead of motif, because when you're sewing granny squares together, a block makes sense. When you're sewing blocks together, people understand what a block is, where the word motif is old-fashioned. I had trouble with it, even though people like to use it. I'd rather use block. Plus we also use blocking. And so it's just making something, it's a asymmetrical figure. An asymmetrical block is what it is. And it still works, but I just want to use a wording that actually is more suitable to more people understanding what it is. And so this would also make a pretty flower if we made like 6 or 8 of them. It would make a really pretty flower. Okay, let's rip it apart. We're going to do some satisfying ripping here. Let's see if we can hear it. I have to pull it really hard to get some musical notes out of it. I'm wondering what I should make next. I'm keep getting something here about a snowflake. We can do a snowflake. We will do a snowflake. Let's make a chain of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now I'm going to, this is one of my favorite stitches actually. I love the popcorn stitch with a mad passion. It's one of my favorite stitches, even though it takes up a lot of yarn. Do I want to put it through the center here? I want to make about 12 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, we've got 12 here. Now I'm going to join with the first stitch. I don't need to do a continual round with this one. Okay, so I'm going to work just a chain, a single crochet, and I'm going to work 5 double crochet in the same stitch. 1, that's not a double crochet. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so now we've got this funky rounded part here, which that's pretty, but I need to flip around, go back here. I can do a slip stitch if I want to, or I can do a single crochet. I kind of like the single crochet better. You see how that looks? We got the popcorn stitch there. This would be sort of cool, I'm just thinking. Well, I know I'm always thinking of something. When I start doing this, that's my problem. Which it's a good problem, actually. Because I start thinking of more and more things that I want to make then. Right now I can't make everything I want to make. Now I'm going to do a single crochet. I'm going to make another popcorn. We should end up with 6. Okay. I'm going to work 5 double crochet in the same stitch. That's number 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to flip around and work a single crochet in the first stitch. Now I'm going to work 5. No. What am I doing here wrong? What did I do here wrong? Am I working single crochet between? Yeah. Okay, so I need to work a single crochet between, and now I'm going to work 5 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, flip around. Now I am going to work a single crochet. We'll flip back around. Okay, so I've got 3 done. I love it. Okay, I've got 3 more to make. But I was just thinking of something. I really want to do that rolled stitch. There's a rolled stitch that I did. It's not the one on the hook. It was one where I did with the granny square and made a rolled looking swirl on the granny square. It's something that's really, really unusual. And like I was one of the few people who actually did it. A lot of women from the past did it in the books and magazines. Now they've moved on to other things, I think. But I thought it was a fun stitch. It's complicated. It's a little bit more complicated than just a basic quick and easy stitch. Now I'm someone, I like something a little bit more than quick and easy. I like just challenging things. I've always said that, you know, I like the things that are more challenging, you know, because then I remember how it's done. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we flip around, and I am working a single crochet. Now down here, I work a single crochet. Next stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm going to flip around and I'm going to work a single crochet. Flip back around and I am going to work a single crochet in the next stitch. We've got 5 on here now. I'm going to work, let's see, where? 5 double crochet. Hopefully I'm not pronouncing my stitches wrong. Sometimes I could be. I'm working 5 double crochet in the next stitch here. That's number 3, 4, and 5. And then we'll flip back around and single crochet. And now in between here, do I have a single crochet in my first stitch? I don't see it, but what I'm going to do is just work a slip stitch right in here. This is what we've got. Now that's not much of a snowflake. Um, let's make a snowflake out of that somehow. Now I'm going to think, um, I know, I hear that saying, don't think too hard. You don't have much to think with. I hear that all the time. Don't think too hard. You don't have a brain. Okay, so I'm going to think, how am I going to get up here to the top? I need to get up here to the top somehow. So I think what I'm going to do is just flip around back here. Doesn't matter how I get there. Let's see, and I'm just going to work slip stitches up the back here, work my way up here to the top, and work a single crochet just like that. See how slick that was? All the magic that takes place in the background. Okay, so we're up here at the top now, and I want to make a snowflake. So I'm thinking, what do I want to do to turn this into a snowflake? I'm not sure. I'm not quite sure yet what exactly I want to do. Maybe I should experiment a little. Okay, let me make a chain of 10, 12. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Do we want 10 or 12? Let's experiment with something and see if we can pull this off. 10 or 12? How about 10? How about 12? Okay, we'll do 12. And then we're going to single crochet in the same stitch. Now, I've never made this before. I'm just thinking this up as I'm sitting here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to work back here a single crochet. Oh, this might turn out pretty good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then we are going to single crochet just like that. Now we're going to work a chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then single crochet back here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, we kind of jumped out of our loops here a little bit. Now I'm going to work a single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to work a single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now we're going to work a single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to go over here, work a single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, now I'm going to go down here and work a single crochet. I like that, kind of like that. Actually, that's sort of cool, just like that. Now I'd need to block this one. And when I say block this one, what I'm referencing with blocking is that I would need to make it hard. And so that means using some glue, fabric glue of some sort. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now sugar, oh my gosh, I've used sugar. I have horror stories to tell about the sugar. It melts. So if you store your snowflakes in a hot attic, it literally melts. So I never got any bugs or anything on the sugar snowflakes that I made, but it melts and it gets sticky and it's gross and over the years. So the sugar, somehow the sugar stays in it. And so I had some snowflakes at one time. They were like, I'm going to say they were 20 years old and they were sugar blocked and it lasted a long time. And eventually they melted. I mean, the thread was still there, but they just got hot and the humidity actually melted them. That's all. They just got sticky. And so if you can keep the snowflakes in a cool place or freeze them maybe, yeah, I mean, maybe your sugar snowflakes, you'd have to freeze them. I know that sounds so ridiculous, but you know, if you're going to use the sugar as blocking, and sugar does block, absolutely sugar blocks, you'd have to just keep them in a nice cool place. And so I don't know how anyone feels about keeping snow ornaments inside of a freezer. Oh, that looks pretty cool like that, actually. I could just leave it like that, but I don't want to. I want to add more to it. And so, but I do like it like just like that though. Um, this is just a basic design. So it's just kind of like a cookie cutter type of crochet. That's what I'm working on. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to work 6 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I was just kind of thinking, should I experiment a little bit more? I'm feeling like I want to experiment. And see, this is how I come up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know how this will look if I pull through all of these. Oh, we could end up with a little blob like that. It's kind of interesting looking. I'm not so sure that I mean, it works. It looks okay. But I kind of wanted it a little bit more frilly than that. I didn't, you know, I'm not, for me personally, actually I like that on the line though. I like that. I'll like that for something else. Maybe just not the snowflake. This part's okay here at the center, but out here I need it to be a little bit more frilly than that. Okay, I'm thinking here. I'm just thinking out loud, and I'm thinking in my animation brain here today with some animated crochet here. Okay, so now I'm just going to go through the chain here. Okay, let's pull you up a little bit more here. Because I believe that Tunisian will be, wait a minute. Let me do it like this. Okay, yeah. Okay. Let's see if this is even going to work. Okay. It might not. Okay. Let's remove all of these. We're going to flip around this direction. This just might be making it a little bit too hard for myself even, or complicated. I don't know. It depends on how it looks. If it's something that I like, and it looks frilly enough for me. I don't know. Let's see. I like that, but maybe not for the snowflake. Yeah, I like it, but maybe not for the snowflake. I like that, though, for something else. Just maybe not for this specific snowflake. It's a little bit too much out there on the edge like that. But I do like that. Okay, let's rip you out. Let's see if we can hear it. I heard the last one pop there. Maybe the camera picked up ones I couldn't hear. Okay. I think I'm just going to go back to working 6 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I think I'll do it like that. So on the end here, I'm going to work 3 sets of chains of 6. So I've done one already. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm going to work a slip stitch like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why did you have to jump off the yarn there? 6. And I am going to work a slip stitch like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I'm going to work a slip stitch. Now what I'm going to do is work 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. So I'm going to let's work a slip stitch right here. Okay, let's see how this looks before we go any further. That's not too bad. That still has the frilly premise to it. Yeah. And so with this little thing up here, when you block it, you can actually block it like that. Oh, I'm just thinking, you know what else we can do too? Let me move on and I'll tell you. I'll show you. Now I'm just going to work a chain though between 1, 2, 3, 4. I think 4 will still work. And then a slip stitch like this. I'm going to work 1, 2, 3. Now over here, should we do it at 3 or 4? Let's 4. What I want to do is I want to see how this looks. So I'm going to count up 1, 2, 3, 4. Work a slip stitch like this. So I'm going to connect them. I don't know if this will work or not, if I have enough to, or if it's going to, it might combine it too much. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't think I made I'd have to make my loops larger for this to work. I was going to try that, but I don't think it's going to work. They're going to be too restricted. And so, yeah, I already see that right now. That's not going to work. Actually, you know what will work though? What could work is if I work, let's see, on the fourth one, I can work a triple crochet. 1, 2, 3. Let's see how that looks. Not too bad. Oh no, we have a little square in there. Or I could, wait a minute, let's see what else I can do here. Not just a triple crochet. I can also just, let's see how this looks. Just pull that up and make a really long single crochet. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I feel like I want to put something in there, but what do I want to put in there? Wait. Let me think. Let me think. Let me let's see what happens here if we do this. Let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and I don't know if this will work or not. Uh-oh, I messed up right there, didn't I? Yeah. Five, okay, and then I can do a single crochet right there. Oh, but I put my popcorn, now it's on the back side. I don't want my popcorn on the back side. That's not gonna work. Okay, I kind of wanted my popcorn on the, okay, we can make this work though. 5. Okay, so instead, let's do popcorn like this and get it on the right side. Okay. Okay. Let's see how that looks. I don't know if that'll work or not. So I've got 4, 5, and 6. I don't know if I need anything else in there or not, but I kind of like that, but it looks kind of, It almost looks too heavy. I'm thinking it looks too heavy in there, even though I kind of like it though. I'm not too fond of that one in there. Okay, so maybe if I do, okay, I've done the triple crochet. Let's do a double kind of a stretched double crochet like this. And I don't know, let's do some of this. 1, 2, 3. Let's see if this works. We make a smaller one between. I don't know if I like that too well in there. I mean, I like the look of the stitch itself. It's just I'm not too fond of it in there. Wait. Oh, I just had another thought of something else that I'm going to do. I think this might work. Let me see here. It was called actually my only mother-in-law that I ever had from my first marriage. She taught me a stitch. Okay, I should be able to. Okay, I need to keep this stitch on here, but let me work this. I don't know if this will work or not. How can I do this without actually... Okay, so I might need to... I don't know if this will work. Okay, all I can do is... I don't want to pull you over too far, though. Okay, so the stitch went something like this. Okay, and then we're going to be over here. Now what I would need to do is get back over to... I like that. I mean, I've used it a lot in my crochet lifetime, but now I'm stuck over here. I'm stuck over there. I mean, this will work. I've actually made snowflakes just out of this. It's called the love knot, or the love knot stitch. Yeah, love knot stitch is what it's called. I've heard it just called the knot stitch and the love stitch. I believe my mother-in-law, she called it the love stitch. Okay, so now I'm stuck over here. Okay, or do I just leave these by themselves? Maybe that's what I'm going to do, is just leave them by themselves. So I'm going to just put in 2 single crochet, 1, 2, and I'm going to work 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. Okay, and then I'm going to work a slip stitch up here at the top like this, and then we're going to slip stitch like that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we will slip stitch here at the top like that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we will slip stitch here at the top. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we shall work a slip stitch down here. We'll slip stitch right here, right in there like that. Now we've got 2 of them, and so when I lay them down, like, oh gosh, I just like that. Why didn't I just do that instead? And just, I mean, because this is kind of what my brain was telling me to do, instead of putting something between here. But then I felt like maybe I needed something between there, but this is more of a less is more. And this part works right here with 2 little loops here. Yeah, absolutely, it works. Okay, so let's continue on with 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we shall slip stitch right here in our previous single crochet, and we will just keep it simple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So some of the most simplest things in crochet can turn out to be so beautiful. You see that? They can turn out to be really, really beautiful. Just with loops. just with some single crochet, slip stitch, and loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and let's work we're doing 3 loops here at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and slip stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, and slip stitch. Okay, we've got our 3 up here at the top. Now we're going to work 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 right here. Now we are going to work a slip stitch right there. So let's lay it down and take a look at it. Oh, oh my goodness. I like that. I like that a lot. Alrighty. Okay. Now, and I decided years ago that I was going to use yarn to show snowflakes instead of thread, because using yarn makes it show up better on camera than using the thread. And so a lot of people were saying, oh, you're moving off camera, I can't see you. It's like, okay, well, and then I thought about it and I thought, yeah, okay, I can teach crochet snowflakes with yarn, and then people can make them with yarn or thread, either way. So this pattern is going to work for smaller, you know, if you want to make a white snowflake and not pink snowflakes, you can make white snowflakes too. Now, I've never ever in my life heard of anyone using black thread and making a black snowflake on their Christmas tree. Never heard of that. I've never heard of anyone making a Christmas tree that has a bunch of black snowflakes on it. Now, what we have heard about is the lump of coal in a stocking. You know, the big old chunk of lump of coal because someone was bad, and so they just get a lump of coal in their stocking because they were bad. Now, the thing I think about, though, is it's like, well, wait a minute. Why, since when did Christmas start becoming a manipulation for kids to be good? Because I know I was told that a lot when I was a kid, that if I'm not good, I'm just going to get a lump of coal in my stocking for Christmas. You know, so it sort of became a rewards and a punishment at the same time. You know, if you don't act a certain way, then Santa Claus is not going to bring you. And, you know, the thing I always question is, well, how did mom and dad know what Santa Claus was going to bring? You know, and it seemed like they always did. They always knew. I can't even remember how old I was before I started realizing that Santa Claus was mom and dad. I don't know what age I was. I don't know. I think I was probably later in grade school, maybe, or when they would put things on layaway at the store. They loved layaway. I mean, layaway was being able to pay for something without having to pay interest on it. That's what was kind of nice that when the stores did that. That's one thing that the younger generation, we always talk about the differences with generations and things we didn't say back in the 70s, 80s, 90s. And, you know, eventually one day, layaway is going to be one of those things that the young generations know nothing about. I think that maybe the millennials are familiar with layaway because some of the stores brought it back a few years ago. I think even Walmart had done layaway at one point. And they periodically bring layaway out, you know. So what it is, it's a way for people to be able to, the store keeps, you know, if a parent has a bicycle, they want to give their kid for Christmas or something like that. then the store kind of keeps it. So you make a little payment plan to them. You're not, I don't think you're paying for rent to keep it in the store. I mean, that's terrible that the stores do that and charge you rent to keep the product in the store until Christmas if they are making money that way. I don't know. Maybe they made money that way back in the day too, back in the 70s. Who knows? Um, it's really kind of sad that everything is about money. And while they raise the price of everything, uh, and I actually what was it I was listening to? Did I get another comment? Hang on, someone's writing some things here. Yeah, Violet. Okay. Violet Ormaza Lirena Hola Coma Esta. Yeah, she wrote some things that I have no idea what she's saying. I only speak English here. I don't speak foreign languages. Unless you count crochet as a foreign language or internet dialogue as a foreign language. I don't speak foreign languages here. So I have no idea what you're saying. And most people, I believe most people in the United States are not bilingual. I mean, there's a few, but I mean, as the public school system cuts back with funding, that's going to be one of the first things to go is foreign language teachers. I know there was a push for foreign language teachers back in the day. I mean, arts is always, it seems like, is one of the first to get cut too, because I know we did have art. Thankfully, my kids had art in their school. They were Department of Defense, and they did a lot of art. They sometimes when I think back to the amount of art that my daughter did in school, I think they did a lot of art. I think even my son too. But you know what? The thing I always thought is art is learning, and when you do something that's fun, when you make artwork, kids are more apt to learn when you're teaching them with artwork than when you're making it fun than when you teach them the old-fashioned boring way like I had. Then it's just plain boring. And if you let kids express themselves, they're more apt to retain and remember things. That's what I think. But that's just my personal opinion. I've never been a public school teacher. I never, well, I know we don't count on YouTube as anything, as a public school teacher of any sort. They just want to knock us out of the algorithm on YouTube because we're a threat to the traditional delivery of United States propaganda. Which technically the propaganda is from the Los Angeles. That's basically what it amounts to, is that Los Angeles is threatened by YouTube. And so they came up with their own propaganda spew garbage, out of Los Angeles from the acting entertainment industry, and just wanted to knock us completely off the internet while they go and they do their same thing. And exclude us, so there's not enough money for those of us on YouTube to be rich like the celebrities, and we just get knocked out. Everybody on YouTube is complaining about the same thing, so I just as well join in because it's a fact. I know exactly what they're talking about. It's a fact and it does happen. It's not considered a real job, just like acting entertainment is not considered a real job, with the exception. There's a couple of exceptions. They have the Screen Acting Guild. Now, I don't know how that's going to work. Internet has no acting guild. Internet has no union. Internet has nothing. No representation whatsoever. Internet has no representation at all. They just leave it up to the website. So When I think about it, each website, if they were going to do some type of a union type of a practice, they would have, oh my gosh, they have a long road ahead of them when it comes to dealing with Congress in the United States. Not only that, I don't know how the foreign actors under the H-1B and H-2B would factor into this because they're not citizens. And so Congress is not going to recognize them as citizens and not recognize them related to any type of rights. And so it would be really unfair. Now, this is what the thing I'm thinking, though, too, under Hollywood, though, in their union practices, when they bring people from foreign countries, then that means they get additional monies that, and maybe that's part of the thing they talk about with migrants being on Medicaid and Medicare. Maybe that's how they do it through the union, Hollywood union. That's a great possibility. I can see how that would happen, actually. I do. I can see how that would happen. And you know, the thing that I never hear the wording of someone saying, "Oh, are you jealous? Are you jealous that because a migrant got your Medicaid and Medicare instead of you?" It's like, well, it's not a matter of jealousy. It's a matter of civil rights and human rights for people in the United States. It's not a matter of jealousy because why would I be jealous of something that someone else has? It's a matter of civil rights. You know, I mean, that some people get benefits and other people don't, but yet you're giving them to migrants, and it's through entertainment acting and the H-1B and H-2B, and you're bringing them into the United States to be entertainers through media. And, you know, I mean, the ships told about this too. The cruise ships busted out Hollywood big time, actually, because of the fact that Hollywood. I'm wondering if I need to start deleting the foreign language because it's like I don't want to get a ding from the YouTube filter because people are writing something in foreign language. I don't know what they're saying. I mean, I don't want to be responsible for that. I don't want to be responsible for someone writing hate and anti-Semitics towards the United States in my YouTube chat. I don't want to be responsible for that. I wonder if I need to start just deleting it and filtering it out. I don't know. Let me see here. If I put the user in timeout, they're not going to know why. I mean, I have no idea what they said, but they could be chanting something about, you know, that's negative towards the United States. And I know a lot of people don't like that. I don't like it myself either. And I don't know what they're saying. And so it just seems like they do it just to be assholes. So Violetta is just being an asshole. And, you know, so when you guys are doing that stuff, you're just being assholes. That's all I see. You know, so you're still working on your anti, against the against people on the internet campaign. I get Legacy Media is still doing that, you know, against, and then blaming the government for it. The government, I don't believe, is doing this. Why would the government do it when the government is about freedom of speech? And so, okay, and so I've got my snowflake done here. So I've got 3 in here. That's pretty good. So I can clip these out. I know on TikTok they use clips to be mean to people. On YouTube we make clips to draw from the main video and pull out little segments. Yeah. Sometimes I wish that YouTube would give us the means to maybe cut things out because I've said some things. And it would be maybe nice for me to be able to mute the clip of things that I said that maybe I don't want in this video, that now that I've ranted, I didn't think about it. Maybe I no longer want that in my video anymore, but I want to use the snowflake in there. Oh goodness, could we do little hearts in here? Some maybe I don't know how I would do a little heart in there, but I like the snowflake. That looks really nice. Um, but see, if I wrote some of that stuff in English to another language, then um, they're not going to know what I'm saying. Most of them don't, and but yet they write on my channel, and I have no idea what they're saying. And there is a big discussion taking place in Washington, D.C. right now related to anti-Semitism towards Americans. And, well, the thing to me that's frustrating, though, is they're fixated on the anti-Semitism being just Jewish, though. And it's like, well, wait a minute. I mean, anti-Semitism to me is more than just Jewish. It's spewing out, but they can't even agree on what the definition of that is, because a lot of them will argue, well, it's the First Amendment, and this person didn't, nothing happened to them. They looked at them and they decided that what they were doing was not the definition of a threat, so their definitions of what hatred is all skewed because of the fact that I mean, we really don't have a First Amendment. Under these conditions, we don't have a First Amendment. But at the same time, I don't want to be listening to people spew their hate from other countries on my channel. So after I've gone through this, and after what I saw on TikTok, I don't. TikTok was horrible. That was another side of something. Now, on YouTube at the beginning, I saw images that were gruesome. I don't think they were artificial intelligence. I really don't. Some of them, I mean, sometimes I thought, gosh, they could be, but it's like I'd never seen AI make anything like that before. I'd never seen the gaming systems or, knew that type of content could be made. And so all I saw was some really, really gruesome images. And it got so bad, it's like, I can't just sit here and look at these images on YouTube all day long because I'm giving myself PTSD just looking at the images because they're so gross and gruesome. People are uploading this nasty stuff. And so then I went to so we get all this stuff served up to us over the decades. And so I was seeing the gruesome images, they come up. Then I was getting served the pornography, and it's like I didn't want to see that either. I didn't want to see that. Even though YouTube leaves it up, they leave it private. Well, they leave it so that people, have to actually work to find it, And so I didn't want to see that either. And then when I had TikTok, then they were doing the anti-Semitics out of foreign countries. And I didn't want to hear about that either. But actually, MSNBC was doing that. MSNBC is doing anti-Semitics and hatred towards the American public. That's just my opinion, and it still is. They've been doing it for a very long time. And so they have ties, I believe, it seems to me to be the left side of politics. And so it's the media doing it. The media does it, and then they blame the American government. That's what they do. They blame the American government for doing it when it's them doing it. So they always want to pass blame off to someone else. And to me, that's frustrating. It's like you're just basically ruining media altogether. Now, YouTube is probably going to, I don't know what the future is or how things will work out, because basically they've just destroyed the whole media, and they destroyed their self this time. Thankfully, they destroyed their own self, because I know back in 2000, the cable TV sustained when Bill Gates went through his antitrust. Cable TV was still there. Nobody decided to say, well, wait a minute, doesn't cable TV have a responsibility in any of this? I started voicing that, and that's where I started experiencing the huge big amount of hate. When I started voicing that, it's like, well, what about cable TV? I mean, they're networks, and they actually have two platforms. They're on cable TV, plus they are on the internet too. And so doesn't that become an influencing, where they do their influencing on cable TV because they have a long standing, they've promoted themselves as being trustworthy, that people should listen to them, they know what they're talking about. But yet those of us on the internet just started out and they want to trash us for having an opinion. So in the past I would keep this separate from my opinion. And so now it's like, why should I? Why should I have to I don't. Why should I have to separate myself from my opinion related to things? I'm one person. And why should I have to jump through hoops just to appease someone else related to something that I don't agree with? So, huh. So I've done 3 things today. I mean, and I'm not apologizing for my opinion either, because it's like I don't feel like I've never done anything just to someone, not, I've never attacked anyone physically for anything. And like people, oh my gosh, people on the internet are horrific when it comes to a lot of things, and I don't know what this Violet person wrote. Have no idea what she wrote. I don't want to be responsible for this crap. So it's the same premises in the United States. When for a foreigner to work at the front desk and to work customer service, they have to be able to speak English. And I just don't think, I just don't believe that as many people speak English as what they profess they do around the world. I just don't. I think a lot of it is AI, possibly. I'm not sure. But now with Amazon, though, losing 14,000 to 30,000 jobs, that's a lot of workers who have lost their jobs now. And that's probably foreign workers around the world, too. Because Amazon does have some bad practices taking place. And, for me, it's really hard. I've tried to get through to them the past couple of days related to a question that I have for something, and I can't. Now they're saying they have a long wait for, now artificial intelligence took care of things and helped me with, so AI will replace workers on Amazon. In some cases, so it's not going to be as easy to be able to talk to a customer service rep. But for me personally, I always rather talk to an American. In the past, we talked to American citizens who did things. We had great customer service. When they moved the customer service outside of the United States, that's when it got horrible. So it doesn't make any sense to me to move the customer service outside of the United States just to pay people less money and avoid American citizens. Then you're just taking jobs away from American citizens. You have American citizens, you pay them well, you pay them through customer service in the United States, you create jobs for people using technology and the internet, and you're going to have people who are able to maybe to afford to do things then. But at the same time, the prices for housing and everything else need to come down so people can afford to live someplace, because what we have going on right now doesn't work. Now, I know the word capitalism in and of itself, that's what an economy is capitalism. However, the economy can't just function off capitalism alone. And that's what a lot of these young men are pushing is, oh, well, they just need to go get a job. And it's like, when I see them, it's like, I just have to shut them off. I just block them because I can't listen to them. You know, they're like, oh, well, these, and then these people are supposed to be working. I hate Newsmax with a passion. Newsmax is hideous and needs to be taken off the air. They need to be censored. They've got some young girl on there now. She's talking about um, old people spending her money. She says, well, do these old people think that we're going to be taking care of them, that we're supposed to be paying for them? And I'm just thinking, you know, well, her logic, she sounds stupid because we never said that when I was young. I never said anything like that and thought about that anybody was supposed to be taking care of me. But at the same time, I always knew I didn't have any money. You know, I always knew that I didn't have a means of taking care of myself, you know, and so this country has a problem with, you know, it's like, well, when you just keep raising prices, that means you defund welfare, you defund Medicare, you defund Medicaid, you defund all your social services is what you're doing. You defund SNAP, and you're taking benefits away from people who need it. I actually, and this is just common sense for me. It has nothing to do with politics because it reaches across all walks of life, not just a political party, but the political party people use it to get voted. You know, so people need to just, I right now, just not vote because the thing is, it's like, if they're just going to get themselves voted, you know, and they can't fix anything. And so all these presidencies, nothing has gotten done. Under Obama, nothing got done. Under Trump the first time, nothing got done. Under Biden, nothing got done. Nothing's getting done. They've had this filibuster in for a long time, the filibuster rule in for quite some time. And so Congress is split. It's a House divided, and they're not agreeing on anything. And I believe it has to do with prices rising. But what's the only way, though, that someone can represent the military? I guess that's shutting down the government, right? That's the only way. I don't know how else it's going to be done. And so the military can't just go on strike because someone decides that things aren't right for the military and things aren't right for the American public. And so the government goes on strike. I mean, basically, to me, that's what a shutdown is going on strike because things in this country are not right. That's what a shutdown is. And so these mouthpieces on Newsmax who are talking all this nonsense, and they're getting young people angry about things that's out of their control. You know, this is what I think about. One old person could pass away and they might free up $10,000 out of Social Security. One old person who's 62 years old, let me say this, one old person who's 62 years old, 63 years old, 64 years old, who has not reached the age of 65 yet, they might be getting $10,000 a year from Social Security. They don't have Medicare, so your Medicare money is going to be there. And let's say they passed away. That's going to free up 10,000 whole dollars for some young person. Can you live off of $10,000 a year, you stupid little girl? That's what you are, is a stupid girl on Newsmax. That one snobby little girl on the right-hand side who is blabbing about that she's mad at old people. And she says, do these old people think that us young people want to pay for them? It's like, well, you guys make less money. So the truth of the matter is, it's not the old people's fault. It's the capitalism and corporations' fault. It's Hollywood's fault because Hollywood would challenge the status quo. Now with the internet, you have a horse of a way different color because it's like, well, if we're supposed to challenge the status quo, which we are, we should be able to ask for prices to come down because, I mean, there's logic. Bernie Sanders always wanted to caucus as an independent. And I think Elizabeth, I don't know if Elizabeth Warren did or not, or if she's been on both sides, but a lot of the politicians have been on both sides. I know I've voted on both sides, but then I understood the monopoly part. It's like, well, if we're forced to vote with a party, that's a monopoly. That's forcing people to vote with a monopoly. And I don't care what their logic is. They can holler all day long on the internet and say, oh, well, when you go to the general election in the fall, then you can choose either party. And it's like, well, yeah, but I wasn't able to vote because I can't vote in, if I'm forced to choose Republican, then I can't vote on the Democrat side. If I'm forced to choose Democrat, then I can't vote on the Republican side in the primaries. So someone else has taken that decision away from me with forced monopoly parties, if you guys understand that. And so, but then they're using the victimhood too. All of them have used the victimhood. And so this came up in a chat place yesterday. So they use the victimhood related to, well, Joe Biden did it, his family, his wife, his daughter, or yeah, his wife and son that passed away when he was a young senator. Obama did the same thing. Obama ran off of victimhood. His mom was a white lady, he was a black boy, and they were poor, and they were abandoned pretty much by his dad. So Obama ran off victimhood. Trump ran off of victimhood. Trump, he played it the biggest and the best as far as that goes. Trump actually played victimhood, that they're always out to get him, that the court system is always out to get him. So a lot of them have. AOC ran off of victimhood. Andrea Ocasio-Cortez ran off of victimhood because she was a waitress, and she was raped too. She did say that when she first became. She was a little bit too excited when she shared her story about being raped, but maybe it was just that she was. I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt that she was excited about being a politician, one of the youngest ones in Congress. But she was sharing a story how she was raped when she was young too. So I have to give her the benefit of the doubt, that she got over it and she dealt with it. A lot of women are raped, so um, I don't believe Tammy Duckworth ran off of victimhood. I know she was in the military, but she ran off of. We don't hear a lot from her, but I know she's the first woman to have babies in Congress. I think a few more of them are having children while being in Congress, and so they have, personal things they need to take care of from time to time. So I mean, my goodness, the woman's voice in the United States has really, really been crushed. Kind of from what I see, and I kind of get, with Hillary, that they didn't want to turn her into, well, she actually was like the only woman for a long time who was kind of paving a path towards running towards president, but she always said she says, I'm not running to be president. I think she knew realistically she wasn't going to get elected. She may have, if Big Head had not have ran against her, she might have gotten elected. But then again, at the same time, we are bucking up against inflation, that of prices rising in the private sector. And, the prices have to come down because inflation is nothing but stealing from the future of the United States. Every generation has had it happen here in the United States. Even my generation has had it happen. So at the time of the first Great Depression, it looked to me like prices stayed down quite a bit. They stayed stable. But, I hear people talk about a stable coin. Um, Uh, let me do a little analogy here before I go. I need to do a little analogy here before I go. And I'm going to here. I'm going to do this. Okay, so we're looking at this little piece of paper right here. We're going to call this a dollar bill. We're going to call it $1 bill like this and put that up here. Let me write out $1. $1. Okay, so this is the year 2025. Okay, so if you want to teach what inflation is, we can't exactly predict inflation, but let's say in 10 years, you want to teach your kid what inflation is and how they prepare for the future. You could just pretty much like, okay, in the future, this is what your dollar will be worth, is 50 cents. So in the future, your dollar is worth 50 cents because prices have rose, prices got higher. Prices got higher. So your dollar decreased in value. So this part, we're just throw it away because this is now how much your dollar is only worth 50 cents now in the future. And then in future generations, now your dollar is worth, oh, we got to do this. So this is what's happening. So this used to be $1, but now it's only 25 cents. That's what's happened. And so, alrighty, I think that's it for right now. I'm done. Unfortunately, I don't know why I didn't get very many people watching. Nobody wants to hear about the truth, I guess. Usually that's what happens with conservative voices.